Okay, here we are at the old Hice Pershing Cemetery. We've come through the gate of the power plant down 2 miles down along the road, and right here in front of me is sort of the little glen or the canopied road that leads up to the cemetery. We came in back here, through this little road. Last time I was in here, I kicked up some turkeys right in here. Now along this, where these bushes are right here, there's a creek that runs along there. The creek runs along all the way to the side of the road there and down to the river. And when you get to the end of that creek, that's where the cemetery is. Now, to my right, as this area starts clearing here, and it goes up an incline, and you can see the smokestacks of the big power plant that's nearby. And then in that glen of trees right there, there's a big mound, I think, as remains of the original estate, probably the Pershing house that once sat there. So you come down that slope slowly again, following the tree line, and you get back to the road to the cemetery. So I'm just going to keep the camera on as we go down here and hope that I don't step on a snake or something along the way. It's a little bit of a ways, so I might turn the camera off and just turn it on again, but I want to give you this sort of dramatic shot of this little covered lane that leads into the cemetery. It's really pretty. It's like entering in here, sort of like entering into a church. And the trees close in over you, and the sunlight comes through the leaves, and it's just like a sort of a walk to the altar, or something. So anyhow, this is the third time that I've been here. It's amazing that somebody actually comes down here and keeps this up. I don't know who it is, but they come down and they cut the grass and keep this accessible, even though you do have to come through the power plant. Now you can park up on the road and bust your way through some weeds and trees to get to this point where we started, but it's a lot easier just to go up to the security gate and they'll let you right in. I just was across the river. Oh, the river is straight ahead of us right now. This little creek is off to the left. And last time I was here, all these bushes were filled with huckleberries. In fact, you can see huckleberries up in there. And I kicked out a deer that was down in here eating huckleberries. So as we continue along the road, like I started to say, I was across the river and down to my right-of-ways and found the old Philip Miller property, and where the likely spot of it is. This is a little ways upriver from it, maybe a half mile or so. You can see all the little birds and stuff that I'm kicking out, scaring out down along the way there. And as you come along here, you can begin to see one of the stones of the cemetery. And I think there used to be an old sign here, but today there's just this iron signpost. Absent sign. So beyond that signpost is the cemetery. And again, the trees in here are real old. It's very, very church-like and very quiet and placid, under here. And we go up to this first stone here. Can't see who it is, from this side. This was somebody named Kissinger. Looks like William Kissinger. And Over in here, behind the creek, there's a couple more stones. I've looked at these before, and they're nobody that we know in particular. However, some very small stones and some very old stones in here that you can't hardly tell who they are. You know, for example, you know, if you look at this one here at my feet, you can hardly make out who it is. And I'm sure that there's people buried in here that are not recorded. So this is the group of graves that are right by the entrance. I'm going to look down across the whole cemetery here now, and you can see the rest of the population under the trees here, looking up into the trees. You can see how tall and old some of these trees are. Again, it's amazing how this is kept up. Of course, nothing much grows underneath these trees, so the trees, you know, help out an awful lot.